It's just a big commotion. So I was just letting the fans just kind of relax. Like we're not here to hurt anyone. It's a basketball play, and that's what it's going to do. We're going to continue to make basketball plays, and it's going to be physical, is what we're trained to do. But that was my biggest thing, was just kind of be a fan. Yes, cheer for your team. That's okay. But at the same time, this is our job. I'm not going to hurt E-Dub, and she knows that. I'm actually checking to make sure she's okay. So I don't like the instigating. It doesn't help our game. It doesn't grow our game. So that's what I was telling people, just to kind of relax. Like, it's okay.
The Las Vegas Aces, once destined for a three-peat, are unraveling faster than a dollar store lawn chair. 3 straight losses. Check. A defense leaking points like a busted fire hydrant. Double check. And yet, AJA Wilson keeps raking in MVP-level praise as if nothing's wrong. Massive check. While the spotlight stays glued to Wilson like she's the undisputed queen of the court, there's another baller out here rewriting the record books, torching defenses, and dragging her team to flawless dominance. Spoiler, it's not AJA Wilson.
This is a problem is that, in general, when it comes to WNBA talk, you cannot say that AJ Wilson's not the best player in the world when she's not. Napheesa Collier is on a 7-0 Minnesota Lynx team and is averaging 26.3 points and 8.3 rebounds per game, and she's doing it on 51% from the field.
The Las Vegas Aces have dropped 3 straight games, their first losing streak of this kind since 2019. 3 in a row. The last time that happened, Bill Lamebay was still on the sidelines, and we all remember how that era ended. But here's the kicker. Despite this chaotic start, despite a shaky record that would rattle even the most hopeful fan, AJA Wilson is still being praised like she's dragging the entire franchise on her back.
Before Clark's injury, she was under 115 to win the award, while Collier sat at over 160. But as of earlier this week, Collier now sits at under 175 to win the award, while Clark's MVP odds lengthened to over 250. Collier's averaging almost 30.7 rebounds and 3 assists, and the Lynx are currently undefeated, sitting first.
Meanwhile, up in Minnesota, there's a woman named Napheesa who's busy redefining what MVP basketball actually looks like. The contrast? It's blinding. You might need sunglasses just to process it. Let's talk facts, because numbers don't lie, even when the hype does. AJA Wilson is averaging 22.8 points and 10.5 rebounds per game. Solid, sure, the kind of numbers that keep your name in headlines and your face on highlight reels. But here's what those numbers aren't doing: winning games. Not for a team that was supposed to be steamrolling the league, not for a squad built to chase a three-peat. Championship DNA. Right now, it looks more like a blueprint gone missing.
She just shouldn't have won MVP last year. She has all these pieces, all these big names, and they're struggling. They're struggling. Napheesa Collier has, if we're going band for band, Napheesa Collier has way less help. We're talking about superstardom. And she had a team in the finals, and right now they're 3-0, 4-0.
Now flip the script to Napheesa Collier, who's not just playing MVP caliber basketball, she's redefining it. She's averaging a scorching 26.3 points and 8.3 rebounds per game, while shooting an absurd 51.4% from the field. And she's doing all that while leading her team to a flawless 7-0 start. 7 wins, 0 losses. That's not just good basketball. That's pure domination. That's the kind of performance that makes you lean back, whistle low, and say, now that's what an MVP looks like.
Game was as long as an NBA game, Napheesa Collier would be averaging more points per game than anyone, men or women. She's averaging 30 points per game this season, and her spin move to the left in the pull-up might be the most unguardable shot in all of basketball. If you're on her back and you see her start to turn over that right shoulder, just start running down to set up the offense. And if she gets a head of steam going to the basket, she can put on the brakes or blow by you to scoop to the rim. She can score pretty much any way she wants as long as she's in the paint. She's even got the little Dirk fadeaway. Dog. Oh, and she's shooting 54% from 3. After winning Defensive Player of the Year last season, it looks like she's got her sights set on it.
If you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to subscribe, because the 2025 Las Vegas Aces season is turning into a masterclass in unmet expectations. Once hailed as the WNBA's next great dynasty, the back-to-back champs have stumbled out of the gate like a heavyweight forgetting how to throw a jab. It started with a 92-78 beatdown at the hands of the New York Liberty, followed by a 102-82 blowout courtesy of the Seattle Storm. Their once elite defense. It's taken a nosedive, from a 97.7 rating in 2023 to 99.6 this season. Head coach Becky Hammon didn't mince words either, pointing to a lack of old-school accountability. Yet somehow, Through all this chaos, AJA Wilson remains the media darling. The reigning MVP still grabs the headlines, the awards buzz, the endless adoration. Meanwhile, up in Minnesota, Napheesa Collier is putting together a season that deserves every spotlight. She's averaging 26.3 points, 8.3 rebounds, and shooting a blistering 51.4% from the field, all while leading the Lynx to a pristine 7-0 record. That's not just excellence. That's dominance. And yet, crickets. She continues to operate in relative obscurity, outside the media's preferred narrative. But make no mistake, the Aces' struggles aren't just about tough breaks. This is a full-blown unraveling. Candace Parker's sudden retirement in April 2024 ripped the heart out of their depth and leadership. With Parker gone, the weight fell squarely on Wilson, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young, an impossible load to carry long-term. The fallout? A desperate roster shakeup that sent Plum to the Sparks and brought in Jewel Lloyd. But the cost was high. The bench is now so thin, so lifeless, that even Wilson's 31-point eruption against New York couldn't disguise how bad things have gotten. The dynasty isn't just wobbling. It's cracking. And the league? It's watching.
The Las Vegas Aces are 4-2 on the season. She is averaging 23, 10.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and a lot of steals on 47% from the field and 26% from three. So Fia is shooting 4% better from the field, 20% better from three. Am I right in saying that? Yeah, 20% better from three. And she is also not statistically as good a defender, but she's a better defender. She's still averaging a crazy amount of stocks, but she is the better defender because she's more versatile. She defends better on the perimeter. She's not as good a shot blocker, which AJ Wilson is, but she actually guards people. AJ Wilson just chills under the basket. And in terms of getting in passing lanes, they're very similar. So, Fee is the best player in the world.
But here's where things get really spicy. Vegas's golden child, AJA Wilson, is still getting all the love, the highlight reels, the glowing commentary, the endless she's just so amazing takes. Meanwhile, Napheesa Collier is out here quietly becoming the betting favorite for MVP, sitting at plus 170 odds. Let that marinate for a second. Wilson's 22.8 points and 10.5 rebounds might sparkle on paper, but they're masking a deeper issue, a system that's falling apart. The Aces' once feared defense, their calling card during their championship run, is now leaking threes at an alarming rate, allowing 10 per game, second worst in the league. We've seen this movie before. Remember the infamous 28-point meltdown against Chicago in 2022? Wilson dropped 20 points and snagged 18 boards, but none of it mattered. The sky torched them in transition and exposed every defensive crack. Fast forward to 2025, Seattle's 75-70 win over the Aces tells the same story. Wilson had 19, but the Storm shot 43.1% from the field and 36.4% from three. The Aces couldn't get stops when it counted. Wilson's numbers? Impressive, sure, but they are starting to feel detached from winning basketball. The odds makers, whose literal job is to cut through the noise and measure real impact, aren't fooled. Collier is the heavy favorite. Wilson? She's sitting at plus 700. That's not close. That's not a debate. That's one player clearly outplaying the other. And the numbers, the record, and the eye test all back it up.
Napheesa Collier winning Defensive Player of the Year this season. Like I said, I think she is coming back into this season with a vengeance, and I saw so much good defense from her in Unrivaled, and I think that's one thing about Unrivaled in that 3-on-3 full court format, and even with the one-on-one games that we saw, players were getting exposed if they weren't able to guard one-on-one on defense, and Napheesa is somebody who exposed a lot of players with her defensive abilities, with her blocking abilities, with how quick she has gotten. She continues to elevate her game, and so I have her as a favorite, as my favorite for Defensive Player of.
Turns out, the WNBA GMs get it.in the league's annual survey. 67% of general managers picked Napheesa Collier as the MVP favorite. AJA Wilson, she got 25%. Caitlin Clark snagged 8%. When the people who actually build these rosters and make the big decisions are overwhelmingly pointing to Collier, maybe, just maybe, it's time to listen. And if you need a reminder of why Collier's getting that kind of respect, let's talk about how she opened the season. 34 points in the opener against Dallas. Not a solid night. Not a strong performance. 34 points. The kind of game that sends opposing coaches into cold sweat film sessions. Then she dropped 23 on the Sparks. That's 57 points through her first two games. the most by a Lynx player to start a season since Maya Moore torched defenses for 67 in 2014. And what happened that year? Maya won MVP. Meanwhile, the narratives around Collier and Wilson couldn't be more different if they were written by rival political campaigns. Wilson's framed as the warrior carrying her team through adversity, even as the aces stumble. Collier, she's casually described as having a nice season, while leading her team to a flawless start and dropping MVP-level numbers weekly. Let's be real about what's going on in Vegas. This isn't a slow start. It's not rust. It's not early season kinks. The aces are showing fundamental cracks. Their defense, once their signature weapon, is now surrendering nearly 10 three-pointers per game, second worst in the league. Their pace has slowed. Their assist numbers are down. And without Chelsea Gray, they're missing their floor general and offensive heartbeat. These aren't small problems. These are maybe we're not who we thought we were problems.